Do you agree there are people in the world, the vast majority of the people in the world believe in God? Okay, let's just agree with that. Okay, explain that from an evolutionary perspective.
As I said, because we didn't know any better, so it's our ignorance. We went, oh well, we don't know what it is, there must be something out there. God has evolved, hasn't it? There's millions of gods, there's different ones, they've evolved over time, and today we have generally the Abrahamic religions, which is like a single God, apart from Christianity.
Okay, so I asked you to explain that in terms of natural selection, but you haven't explained that.
Why would I explain it in terms of natural selection?
Because as an atheist, that's all you have.
Your claim was that we have an innate disposition towards God, and I asked you, give me some evidence.
Well, the evidence is the vast majority of people believe in God.
Can the vast majority of people be wrong?
Yes.
Okay, so that throws that argument out.
No, you're forgetting something. You're misrepresenting my argument. I'm not saying the vast majority of people believe in God, therefore belief in God is correct. I'm saying the vast majority of people believe in God, so from an atheistic perspective, how do you explain that?
I've just told you, if the vast majority of people didn't believe in God, would that make God not exist? Or would it be innate if the vast majority didn't believe in God? Because you seem to be claiming like an ad populum fallacy, which is because lots of people believe something, I need to explain why lots of people believe it.
Okay, yes. Wait, hang on. That's not a fallacy, and you're just throwing out that fallacy without actually understanding it. Scientists, what they do is they take a popular phenomena and they try to explain it. That's what evolutionary psychology is about, correct?
Sure.
Right? So what's wrong with me saying the same question which Steven Pinker or somebody else would say? Why does religion exist? That's essentially what I'm asking you.
And I've told you, I mean, do you want me to repeat it again?
Well, I'm saying your explanation is not in line with your worldview.
Why not?
Because your worldview is a naturalistic worldview, correct?
Yes.
So you have to explain everything naturalistically, correct? Sure. So can you explain that naturalistically? How does it give a survival value to believe in God? How do you
I'm not an evolutionary biologist or an evolutionary psychologist, so if you want to ask me the specifics, all I can tell you is...
But you believe in that, right?
I believe in what?
You believe that we evolved.
Yes.
That we evolved by natural selection.
Yeah.
You believe that, okay? So since you believe that, why do you give me an explanation of why you believe that?
Why do I give you an explanation?
No, why do you give me an explanation in line with your worldview or where that belief came from?
Which belief?
Okay, let's just go on some basics
here. Moving off to evolution. Your original claim to me was we have an innate nature to believe in God.
And what did I say?
Some studies.
And what did I say?
And I rejected that. And I said those studies are not...
Okay, do you know what we'll stand close to the argument? I'm going to put on that. We'll agree on something that I don't think you'll disagree with, which is the vast majority of people believe in God.
Yeah.
Okay? So now we have a popular phenomena which we need to explain.
Sure.
Okay? Now, from an atheistic perspective, that there's no God and natural selection explains human evolution, right? How do you explain the fact that people believe in God? That was my question.
Yes. And I said to you, because people are ignorant, they don't know any better, and they, what's the word? They
look you're referring to God of the gaps.
Yes.
I'm asking you to give an explanation in terms of your worldview.
Have I not just given it to you?
No, you haven't.
Okay.
Well, you've actually...
Give me a clue as to what you're looking for.
Okay, what I'm looking for is this. If I was an atheist, what I would say is, well, I have to explain this using naturalism. So if I have to explain this using naturalism, I have to explain a belief in God in terms of survival and reproductive value, which is what Richard Dawkins tries to do, which is what Steven Pinker tries to do, which is what I would expect an atheist to do, rather than speak about God of the gaps. That's totally irrelevant.
So you want me to give you information on evolutionary biology or evolutionary psychology?
No, I want you to give me information which is in line with your worldview, because you believe that worldview to be correct.
Sure. So
I ask you a question.
I don't know what you want me to give you. What words do you want to give me? I think that people have evolved over time, and over that period of time, when they couldn't explain something, they went, look up there. Like if I was born 500 years ago and I didn't know how electricity or lightning formed, I'd go, my word, that looks like that could come from a god or something, because I can't explain it. It's very powerful.
Sure.
Maybe it's a god that did that, because I don't know.
Sure.
Now we understand that.
Sure.
We no longer do that. And the more we push back with science, the less there is an explanation required for a god or gods.
Okay, so if what you said is true, and what I'm going to do now, Rob, I'm going to take what you said and I'm going to extrapolate it. What you just said is that people believed in God because of God of the gaps. And because they believed because of God of the gaps, as science is progressing, religion is regressing. Right? Is that in line with what is actually going on in the world?
Seems to be. Why would you say not?
Okay, here's why I would say not. According to Pew, by the year 2070, Islam is going to be the largest religion on earth. Christianity is also going to increase, and guess what? Your group, the atheists and agnostics, are actually going to shrink by 3%.
What?
So, if science is progressing, which I'm assuming, which is what is happening today, then why is that happening? And I'll tell you why it's happening. It's because the arguments that you're putting forth don't actually make sense, such as people believe in God because of God of the gaps. Science explains how things work. God is an explanation of why things exist. So it's a category mistake, which atheists have been doing for a very long time, and the whole God delusion book is about that category mistake. And even other evolutionary thinkers like Michael Roos, he says, I find this embarrassing, and he's an atheist. He says, I find the God delusion embarrassing. To say that all of theism is based upon the fallacy of God of the gaps, that line of thinking does not make sense. So I want you to give a justification for your worldview based upon your worldview.
I don't know what else you want me to say. You keep asking the same question. I keep giving you the same answer.
Well, you haven't given me an answer though.
You're rejecting my God of your words, not mine. God of the gaps. I think people were ignorant.
No, wait. We moved on beyond that. You made another claim which I challenged. Your claim was, as science is progressing, religion should regress.
Correct.
Right?
Your claim is it's not.
Well, not me. According to Pew, by the year 2070,
why is that happening?
Islam... Okay, go on.
Why is that happening? You tell me. Your explanation is what?
Well, I'm happy to move on to why that's happening, but I want you to concede that you don't have an answer, and the claim that you made is actually false, which is, as science is progressing, religion is regressing. I'm happy to move on, but as long as you admit you're wrong.
Okay, so and your reason for suggesting that science is progressing and religion is regressing, your reason is because more people believe. More people are becoming theistic. Is that your reason?
Okay, what you've actually said there is a truism, right? Roses are roses. Of course there's an increase because people are believing. If they weren't believing, it wouldn't be an increase.
Correct, and the reason you say that is happening is because...
I never said a reason. I just challenged your fallacious thinking that increase in the scientific worldview will actually decrease the belief in God, but it doesn't.